Hey folks, welcome back to the Leeds Gamer. It's match preview time, and the Premier League can take a back seat for one particular episode here, because we are still in the F.A. Cup. Can you believe it? Leeds United, a team who in the modern day have been bloody useless in the cups. So, we'll take it. Fifth round. So if we beat Norwich, we get into the quarter-finals. My God, we might go on and win the damn thing at this rate. No, we won't. Anyway, so straight into the lineups. Norwich have got an injury list as long as a giraffe's neck. It's absolutely ridiculous. They are apparently without Chire, Schwartau, Makama, Jurase, Amas, Matson, Mahovo, Forson, Duffy, Topic, Slope, Cernak and Forsyth. Like, come on now. What the hell is going on at Carrow Road's training facility or whatever? My God. They've got an injury, like, if they had a goalkeeper in that injury list, they could almost play a first 11. That's crazy. So this has been very difficult to actually know what kind of lineup Norwich might actually put out. Absolutely ridiculous. So anyway, with the limited resources I've been able to come up with, I'm predicting that they might set, well, the likelihood is they'll start with their first choice goalkeeper, who is Vladan Kovacevic. I've gone with fullbacks Callum Fisher and Ben Crescent. Centre backs Harry Darling and Rowie McConville. I can't pronounce half of these bloody names. Somehow Kenny McLean is still playing. Like, that guy feels like he must be 50-year-old by now, but he's actually not. He's like 34 or something. But he's still at Norwich. Feels like he's been there an age. So he's likely to probably captain the side and probably play in that defensive midfield role. So then I had to get creative with this. I don't know what formation they're likely to play. But on the basis of going for a relatively straightforward 4-4-2 or 4-4-1-1 or something along those lines, I've gone with Marcondes at right wing. I've gone with Ben Slimani at left wing, with central midfielders Jacob Wright. Well, Jacob Wright obviously partnering Kenny McLean in midfield. I've then had to put Chris Garden in the 10, even though he's not a striker, he is more of an attacking midfielder, and then Josh Sargent up front. All these injuries, and yet Josh Sargent's not one of them. He's known to be a bit of a crock. Good goal scorer at championship level, but his injury list is nearly as long as his goal scoring record. But hey-ho. So yeah, I don't know if there's going to be any accuracy in that lineup whatsoever. They changed the manager part way through, and new manager Clement, I think he's former Rangers manager, seems to be getting a tune out of this team at the moment. So this lineup could be completely wrong. But we'll find out. So moving on to Leeds, I'll start with the players missing out. Melier and Cairns, as per usual. If it were me, I would rest Gabby Goodmanson. He is too important to our Premier League campaign. We do not need to lose him through an FA Cup match. So for me, I would be resting GG, because he's great. We need him for the league. We don't need him for the cup. Not this round of the Cup of Leagues anyway. Now this might seem a bit odd, but I've suggested that Facundo Buonanotte might miss out. Now, you would think that the FA Cup, perfect opportunity for Buonanotte to get some match fitness, get some minutes in the legs, and show what he can do. However, having watched Daniel Farke's press conference, I wasn't super convinced that he's super convinced with him yet in terms of his fitness. And my argument to this is, well, get him in the under-21s. Get him to play a competitive match in the under-21s, see if he can last 90 minutes at that level, and if he can, that's great, because then that gets that fitness into the legs, gets him playing again, gets him playing a competitive match of some kind. He's going to be around players that aren't so dissimilar to him in terms of age. So I think he's only about 22 himself. So he could play in the under-21s for a match. He would act as one of the 2 overage players that you can name in the team. And just give him a run out. I don't see what harm it does. If he gets injured, it proves he wasn't fit enough in the first place. And if he gets through it and gets a bit of fitness in his legs, it gets him closer to the first team. But the club doesn't seem to be entertaining that idea. So for the moment, I mean, at best he gets on the bench, and maybe one of the other defenders gets a rest. Maybe Joe Rodon, because Jakob Biol's not played as much, so it makes sense. Like recently, so it makes sense for Biol to be on the bench. But you'd rest either Rodon or Stroud in that particular instance. So yeah, that's my take on Buonanotte. And then Daniel Farke confirmed that Noah Okafor is still injured, but he is the only unavailable player. So the squad's getting closer. It's getting closer to being fully fit. If we could just get Noah Okafor back fully fit, and we have a press conference where Daniel Farke says that the entire squad is available, like, how often does that ever happen? If we could get to that point, that really is a testament to the medical staff at the club. And then, a bit of credit to the players, because they're actually looking after themselves and getting the relevant rest and recovery between matches and training sessions. So, yeah, that to me, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Where the squad's not in a bad place right now. Like, when you compare it to Norwich, who have got an injury list so flipping huge, and we've just got one player who's injured. Now, don't get me wrong, I would very much like to have Noah Okafor available, even if you just bring him off the bench. He's such a creative player on his day. He could cause some problems for a team like Norwich, but it is what it is. So we move on. So onto the bench. So I've switched goalkeepers. Makes sense. Caldalo's doing all right in the league at the minute. There or thereabouts at least. So it makes sense for Lucas Perry to have another cracking goal, and if Lucas can perform in this match against Norwich the way that he performed against Birmingham, it'll do wonders for his confidence. He played very well against Birmingham, had a lot of shots faced and kept him out for the most part, played very well. So yeah, hoping for a good performance from Lucas there. So in the meantime, Caldalo on the bench, obviously resting pretty much all of the first choice defence really. I'll say first choice defence, I mean James Justin's been part of the first team defence recently, hasn't he? But for me, I would bench Jadon Bogle, Jakob Biol, Joe Rodon and Pascal Stroud. It is a lot of defenders, but it is what it is. And then Ilya Gruev, Anton Stack and Brendan Aronson, providing some midfield depth on the bench there. And DCL obviously being rested as well. Well, temporarily rested, if we need to bring him on, we need to bring him on. And so with the first 11, I've gone with almost like an old style 4-4-2 with this. I don't think we need to go with a back three against Norwich. Norwich score a reasonable number of goals, and they've got goal scorers all throughout the squad, but half of them are injured. So, for me, I'd go with Lucas Perry in goal. I'd put James Justin back to his more natural position of right back. Give Sam Byram a game. What harm can it do? You know, he's been fit and available for a while now, and he just does not get a kick. And this is against his former team as well, so why not? He's got a point to prove. We'll enjoy it. So, yeah, Justin and Byram at fullback, Bornow and Ampadu at centre back. Now, Ethan Ampadu's had a couple of dodgy games by his standards, playing in defensive midfield in the league. But we do need his leadership for this kind of game, so why not play him at centre back? He's played there plenty of times before. So, yeah, I would have Ampadu and Bornow as a back two. Well, centre-back pairing if you like. I've then gone with the central midfield pairing of Sean Longstaff and Outanaka. These two just cannot get a kick. They are so underused at the minute. This is a good chance for both of them to get some serious minutes in the legs, because as this final 9 games of the league goes on, you know, midfield is going to be crucial. So we're going to need Longstaff and Tanaka to be fit. This is a good opportunity to give them a good run out. So yeah, Longstaff and Tanaka in midfield. I think the two of them could be very decent as a midfield partnership actually. Longstaff's very, very experienced. Tanaka on his day is a very tidy player. So yeah, I think it would be alright that. I've gone with Dan James and Willie Nonto on the wings. Both of them have kind of come on as substitutes in the last couple of games and they've looked quite bright. So yeah, why not start them both? Give them a go. Again, gives us more options if we can get them a bit fitter. And then I've gone with the front two of Lucas Mecha and Joel Pirot. Why not? Why not? Now, do I think that Daniel Farker will go with this lineup? Absolutely not. Daniel Farker has been doing my head in a little bit with his lineups the last couple of games, and I'm not very happy about it. I gave him a pass on the Man City one because he went with that defensive shape and the defensive lineup. It's against Manchester City, who have a squad of £1 billion spent on it. You know what I mean? You know, with the Sunderland match, he stuck with the exact same pissing lineup. They were knackered, and DCL was isolated as hell. No. Just don't do it, Daniel, please. I'm begging you. Don't stick with same bloody lineup. I get where, on one hand, I get why he's doing it, because he's trying to keep consistency. He obviously is a manager that don't believe in making a lot of changes, because that can disrupt the fluidity of the play and the familiarity and understanding that you get between players. But, you know, it's a long season, it's a squad game, and he doesn't use his squad. Or not enough. You know, every squad's gonna have some of their best players, right? You know, that's the case with any squad. But for God's sake, you've got some decent players that aren't getting a kick. And some of the players that are our best players right now are knackered. And if our players are knackered and too tired to play, or to play to their full potential, give them a rest, man. What harm can it do? Not a lot, in my opinion. There can only be gains from it. I'm not a qualified football manager. I'd love it if I was. Right? I'd love to do my coaching badges and get into management. But Daniel Farker is a qualified manager, and at the moment, you know, I've backed Daniel Farker all season. And his decision, I think I'm still hurting from that Sunderland performance. That one's going to sting for as long as we're stuck on 31 points. Because at the moment we're too close to that relegation zone. Anyway, that's going off topic a little bit. That's for another video. So, yeah. This is my lineup, folks. Do I think that F.A.Cup will go with it? No. I think that F.A.Cup might have Buonanotte on the bench. Probably for one of the defenders there. I think he'll probably have Gabby Goodmanson on the bench because he's just too good to leave out completely. But then, who else do you leave out? Some players are gonna miss out. I think he won't play Sam Byram, which I think is ridiculous under the circumstances. What has Sam done? Has he been having a secret affair with Farker's wife or something? I mean, what? You know what I mean? Him and Sam are supposed to be pretty good as a, manager-player relationship. They've played under the same regime at two different clubs, for Christ's sake. So yeah, I don't know. Because I'm not convinced he'll go with a 4-4-2. I think if anything, he'd probably go 4-2-3-1. If he doesn't go, or he'll go 4-3-3 if he doesn't go with the 3-5. Well, you see, a few weeks ago I kind of had an idea as to what he might do. Now I'm not so sure. Second half against Sunderland, he played 3 different formations. So I just don't know anymore. I don't know. This is really difficult for me to predict. This lineup that I've put out here is a lineup that I'd probably go with, just because some players need a rest, and some players need to get some match fitness and get some minutes in the legs. So I don't know. I really don't know. And as far as that Norwich lineup's concerned, I mean, they've got so many injuries. God knows what they're going to do. But yeah, there we have it, folks. I'll leave it at that. I have no idea. But yeah, big thank you for watching. Do please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Do please hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any future content. And please like and hype the video. But in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one. See you next time. Bye for now.